20 seconds. Um, Dang, let me open up where my ebook is because I don't know where it is at all.
Hey guys, this is Brandi Fox with Be the Entrepreneur Consultant Agency. On here with my homegirl Christine, and she is going to be talking about certifications and capability. Well, we're going to be talking about certifications and capability statements. Basically, kind of letting especially minority entrepreneurs know how and what you need to do to get certified and the importance of capability statements for you to be able to get that government funding that is available. If you may or may not know, the government has a certain amount of contracts that they put aside, or funds, let me put that right, a certain amount of funds that they put to the side to support minority entrepreneurs to make sure that we have an opportunity to get some of those higher bidding opportunities with the government. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with that are missing out on these opportunities because they are not getting certified to be able to get those RFPs and things like that, to be able to get the funding that your business could use to be able to grow your business. So before I go any further, I'm going to let Christine talk a little bit more about herself, what she does, and her business, Civility Localized.
Thank you so much, Brandy. I'm so happy to be here with you, and it just feels like everything is coming full circle because we're talking about government contracts and we're talking about certifications again. I think one of the last times that we did this conversation together was in 2020. And I think it was so important in 2020 to get small business owners and to get minority business owners on board with government contracts because I believe if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right?
Hey, that's a fact. That is a fact.
And so that's why I really like to just promote the fact that the government at all levels spends billions of dollars per year on vendors, on private vendors, just like you and me. So there are dozens and dozens of industries that the government purchases every single day. So I'm happy to be here. I am a community engagement consultant. I am a business owner. I've owned my company since 2018. We specialize in community engagement consulting, marketing research, and public sector community outreach work. But what I also do is I offer training and coaching for small businesses to learn how to win government contracts. 100% of our clients are government clients. And so I just want to be able to just share the knowledge of what I have learned over the years.
Yes, and I'm excited, y'all, because it's some good knowledge. Since we did this into 2020, like I've definitely seen the explosion across the board. Even the rebranding, everything. So I'm
Mhm.
super excited for us to provide this information as well, because a lot of times it's not, but what you know, but who you know, and who has that information to take you and your business to the next level. So, with that being said, if you guys have just joined us, please share this on your page. Just hit the share button real quick. So that way, anybody else that's not on, they'll be able to tap in and see what we're talking about and be able to get access to some of these certifications that are available as well. So, hopping right into it, let's start with our first topic. It'll be talking about the importance of minority certifications to increase business revenue. So for people who are not familiar with the business certifications, can you go over a little bit more the basic ones that I guess would be the most popular here in Charlotte or North Carolina in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are, I guess I'll start with North Carolina. Um, there's about three different certifications that I think are the most important for business owners who are headquartered in North Carolina. I always tell people to start at the state level, get your state level certification if you are a minority business owner or a woman business owner. And the agency that will award you that certification is called HUB. It is the Office of Historically Underutilized Businesses. So sometimes people will say, "Oh, I have my hub certification," or I'm going to the hub office, or you're speaking with a representative from the hub office. Basically, it is a department within the state of North Carolina that will help small businesses learn how to get certified. So, state agencies, Well, really, any agency that is within the state of North Carolina, for example, our community colleges, our local school systems, our city of Charlotte, city of Asheville, right? Any department like a health department, all of those are public agencies within the state of North Carolina. And so, whenever you get certified, that means that you get access to the funding that they have set aside for minority owned businesses. So I always tell people go after the hub first because you get access to all of the different contracts, or your business is qualified. Not that it's not qualified without the certification, but it really is a benefit because you can help these agencies meet their goals when you're certified. Now, under hub, there are two different certifications that you can be eligible for. They have an MBE and a WBE. And just really high level, the eligibility requirement is that you must be of a minority category like African American, Asian American, Hispanic, um, non-white, and you must be at least 51% owner of your company, and also women. Any woman who could also be a white woman is also qualified and eligible to receive a hub certification. And the reason that our governments do this is because, again, they want to level the playing field for small businesses and businesses that are not led by white men, because history has shown us, right? A lot of these larger businesses are getting the bulk of these contracts. And so that's why, if you are a minority owned business, Black, Asian, Hispanic, or a woman, and you own your business, it doesn't hurt you at all to get this free certification. Last thing I'm going to say about the hub is, when you get your LLC in North Carolina, how do they know you're Black?
They
Right?
don't.
They don't. So the only way for the government, or really any database, any public database, to know that you are indeed a Black owned business is to get certified. You can use that certification in North Carolina, but that certification will take you far, right? So it will take you far. You can use it in grants, you can use it for fellowship opportunities. And if you're saying, hey, this is an opportunity for a Black owned business, how else can you verify that you are indeed a Black owned business? And so that's why I always encourage people to go ahead, get that hub certification. That's HUB, historically underutilized business. And that is a really good place to start.
Perfect. And those, now remember, guys, those are all state level certifications. So that is for people who live in the state of North Carolina, correct?
That's right. That's for the
Okay.
state of North Carolina. Um, Now, when you are thinking about your local certifications, they are concerned with something different. So the state level is concerned with your demographics, whether you're Black, whether you're a woman. At the local level, there are different certifications. Like, for example, your city of Charlotte or Mecklenburg County, they also have goals, right? So the state doesn't only have goals for how many minority businesses they want to work with. The city and the county, they also have goals. Therefore, they also have a certifying agency that you can get certified, and their certification is called SBE, and that stands for Small Business Enterprise. And so when you get your SBE, that's basically telling the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County that your company fits under the income threshold. So they care more about how big your business is, how much income and wealth that you already have, in order to make sure that you're not some big company, or you're not a rich individual or wealthy individual, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
already already has access to all the capital. They already have access to resources. So they want to make sure that your income, and you have to do a personal net worth statement. They want to make sure that your personal net worth is not more than $750,000. And I don't think that includes real estate assets. I think that's just like personal assets, residential primary residence and some financial assets. So they just want to make sure you're not rich before you go after these certifications, basically.
No, that totally makes sense. And I have all of those. And the good thing about that hub, because the hub actually did a grant last year or earlier this year, the hub did a grant, but one of the requirements of it was that you had to be hub certified. So that's the other thing with these certifications as well, is some of these certifications get their own funding opportunities. But
Mhm.
one, of course, the number one requirement for these funding opportunities is that you have to be registered. And the good thing about once you get registered is that you will have the ability to set up your, what's the number called?
Dunn's number.
Not the done. What's the, is that the one where you can type it in and you can start getting inquiries from certain
Oh, you
what's that
talking
number
about
called?
NAICS?
Yes, that's it. Your
Yeah,
NAICS number. So
NAICS.
basically, what that number is, it
Mhm.
helps categorizes the services or products that you offer. So once
Absolutely.
you get certified, you'll be able to register yourself in the hub, the different systems,
Yep.
and you will put in your NAISC number. And from
Mhm.
there, you will be able to get automatic emails anytime anybody puts in a request for somebody that offers that service. You'll get emails. Like I get emails all the time, but
Yep.
I did it wrong. I got excited and I put in a lot of numbers because I was like, I don't want to miss no opportunities. So now I be getting stuff that don't even pertain. But so you want to make sure that when you do set it up, be intentional about setting it up. Make sure that you are only putting in numbers that tie to your business, because you want to make sure you're only getting things that are beneficial for you. You don't want to waste your time, your inbox space, all that stuff, focusing on opportunities that do not fit you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I put that in the chat here if you want to share that out with
Yes, I
folks.
definitely can.
NAICS or NAICS. They call that your NAICS code. What that is, it's an acronym. It stands for North American Industry Classification System. Like Brandi was saying, is basically a numbering system or a code that matches up with what your business does and what you offer. So if you offer health and fitness, you want to make sure that you when you get registered with these certifications, you make sure that you put those health and fitness codes. You don't want the codes for construction and hauling, because that's not what your business does, that's not what you offer. And so that's the beauty of being certified, is that you automatically get put on these vendor databases. And the more you drill down and niche what you offer, the more you're going to be able to get those opportunities. So I think it's great. My main next code is marketing consulting, and it's really broad. I know that marketing is broad, but you also have like other things that go under marketing, like market research, which is surveys, graphic design, communication, other things like that.
That's the code I should have used. I'm up here getting, girl, I'm up here getting water pipelines. Look at, I'm like, I don't know nothing about no water
No,
pipelines. Just
like
out
I
here,
can't
just
help you. But the
I
thing
can't help
about
you.
well, sometimes you'll be surprised, because a lot of these engineering projects, they need help with communication.
They are struggling. Like they are legit struggling. No, that's for real.
Sometimes they need help. So I don't want to go too far in the weeds, but sometimes I'll look at the project that they send, and I'll say, this doesn't have anything to do with me. But then I'll open up the RFP and see if they have anything in there about public engagement. Like, oh, you need somebody to host a workshop, or oh, you need materials translated into Spanish. Okay, I have a bilingual specialist on my staff. Maybe we can help you. So just you can kind of think about where you fit in. But yeah.
And get creative. You got to get
Mhm.
creative with it as well, because I know I had the opportunity a while ago to go on an RFP with another company. So using your code, even if your code might not be specific, you might be able to partner with other people who codes match, but
Mhm.
you might can go under as a subcontractor for it or things like that. So it's opportunities for you to work with other people to be able to still get access to certain things that might not fall directly in your code. So for me, it's all about being creative in the services that you offer and being open minded to the opportunities that are available to you when they are getting put out.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So let's talk about so I've heard from entrepreneurs that, and that I've consulted, where they felt like the certification was not beneficial. They was like, I felt like I did all this, it didn't work, I didn't get a contract, blase, blase, blah. What,
Mhm.
as somebody that's kind of been working in that industry, what is some advice that you can give for people who feel kind of discouraged in that process, where they're putting in RFPs or they might get opportunities, but they're not landing them?
Right. Yeah. It can be sometimes discouraging. But I just want people to know that it does not always happen overnight. I think a couple of things that you can do while you're searching for that sort of breakthrough opportunity is do more research. Really get into what is going on in your local community. Go to your city council meeting and understand what they're spending money on, right? Read, because again, this is government contracts. You have to learn how to speak the language. Read about government budgets, city, county budgets. Understand how much money is being spent in what areas and in your particular focus area. So that's number one: is do research of the funding availability in your local community. Number two is get on some newsletters, get on some industry newsletters and certification newsletters so that you can be in the loop, basically networking. Make sure that you're networking with people. Start to see what names pop up over and over, right? And start to do some networking. Add those folks on LinkedIn so that you can be in their virtual circle. Um, the third thing is, so there's two more. The third thing is, and this is really the next step because you got to put yourself out there, is going to a pre-bid meeting. Go to a pre-bid meeting. Just go
Those are
to.
interesting.
They're so good. Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like it's really boring, but it really tells you a lot about how these contracts operate. You can ask all kinds of questions at that meeting too. And the beauty is that now a lot of these meetings are virtual. It used to be that these meetings were in person, so you had
Mhm.
to be there in person, but now a lot of governments do their pre-bid meetings virtual. What is a pre-bid meeting, right? So when an RFP is released, a request for proposal, sometimes they don't think they always require it, but sometimes they are required to take questions from interested vendors before the deadline, so that you can ask questions about the project. You can ask about the duration of the project, like when does the project start, how much is the budget. If the budget isn't listed in the RFP, you can ask those questions. They may or may not answer, but it's also a really good place to network, so you can see, okay, some of those same names that you've been hearing over and over, their name has popped up in the pre-bid meeting, right? And so you can start to evaluate who you think is going to be successful on this contract based on their track record, based on their past performance. Go on their website, right? um and just kind of put your name in the room, like put your name in the chat, the name of your company and your certification, because that is huge. That's big. You're certified. So you are, what is the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, you're the prize, right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
You are the prize. They want to work with you. So at the pre-bid meeting you can ask them, what is your MBE goal? Is it 3%? Is it 8%? And so that if you know there's an MBE goal in this project, you know that one of those big companies needs to work with a smaller MBE certified company, and
And
you
what
could.
does MBE stand for?
Oh, minority business enterprise.
Oh, I thought you said MBE. Okay, you said
Oh
M. Okay, no, I got
yeah.
you. I know that one.
Mhm.
Okay, I was like, I ain't never heard of MBE. MBE. Okay.
So yeah, so if they have those goals, the MBE goals, then you know for sure that they're going to need to work with a MBE certified company. Or if they have a SBE goal, then you know, okay, even if you don't think you could take on the contract yourself, you could partner with a bigger company to then just be responsible for a part of the contract. And even though it seems like, oh, I'm not getting this whole contract for myself, I can't take credit for it, you absolutely can, because you're still getting paid for a service, right? So I definitely think that is really good experience to have under your belt. So that is go to a pre-bid meeting. And then I feel like the last one was just be a subcontractor. You feel like your certification is not getting you where you need to be, but if you take these steps, you network with people, you learn about the demand, you go to a pre-bid meeting, you could eventually become a subcontractor. And so let me just kind of break down what that is. So you have a prime contractor who is really like a first tier vendor who is actually has a contract with the government. So that's the prime contractor. As a subcontractor, you're basically a second tier vendor, but you have a contract with the prime. So don't be afraid to be a subcontractor, because that is a good way to get your foot in the door. It's a good way to get your name out there and also get some experience under your belt. I'll give you an example. Like, let's say, for example, the health department needed a marketing and outreach plan. And so you know that they have a big need because our health department in Mecklenburg County is really big. So you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe I don't know if I can really go after this whole contract because I don't know if I have the capacity to do that right now. And I don't have the experience to really be competitive. However, I do a lot of graphic design work, and my graphic design work is really, really good. So, what you want to do is go to the pre bid meeting and say, hey, I know that the health department needs a marketing plan, and I know that graphic design is a part of that. So, allow me to be your subcontractor, and I can do all the graphic pieces, and you can do the other stuff. So, that's really a subcontractor relationship.
I love it. That was perfect. And that's exactly what I had the opportunity to be. They did an RFP for a fitness, something fitness, like a whole fitness regimen for Parks and Rec,
Mm-hmm.
for their elder community, because they try to, the senior community, they try to do a lot of things for them. So I got invited on for the massage therapy portion.
That's good.
So it was definitely interesting. But I enjoyed it. It was good to see how the process goes, to really put in the RFP and all that stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was interesting. It's definitely long. So be prepared. Do not think you're gonna fill out this contract in one day. It is a process. So if it's something that you see that you're interested in, go ahead and start working on it as soon as you see it, because if you wait to the last minute, I promise you, you're going to be stressed and overwhelmed. And at that point,
Mm-hmm.
you're not even going to want to do it. So it's one of those things you got to constantly kind of work on. Once you figure out you want to do it, you need to be constantly working on it, and make sure you put yourself on a strict time schedule, and make sure you are aware of the deadlines. I had a
Mm-hmm.
client that had a deadline. She missed the deadline. She was like, oh, I was this. She tried to, no. If they say Friday at 5 p.m., that means Friday at 5 p.m. When 5:01, when you click on it, it's gonna be gone.
It's
Like,
gonna be
so
gone because, sometimes they have to keep moving, they have to keep pushing, and sometimes these contracts are multi six-figure contracts, so they wanna make sure that the company that they hire is equipped to do the work, you know? Um, it doesn't happen overnight. There's a contract, or I guess a proposal that we just got invited to interview for. We just got to the interview stage, and we submitted this proposal on August 3rd. Yeah. So we've
it's
been
been 2 months.
waiting.
Yeah,
We've been
yeah,
waiting
you just
for
be out here.
months, just like, oh, I don't know, we haven't heard back. And then you're reaching out, and I was like, hey, did you guys make a decision? Did you hire anybody? No, not yet, not yet. And so sometimes they take their time, kind of going through the proposals, and then sometimes it happens quick. Sometimes they already know exactly what they want, or maybe it's a more straightforward project. So you can submit a proposal, and then the very next week, they could be saying, okay, we picked somebody, or okay, you're hired. We want you to come in for an interview, or what have you. So It doesn't happen overnight, but as long as you keep doing those steps in the meantime, you can stay busy and you can keep opportunities coming in the door.
I agree. I
Mhm.
agree. And I would say the biggest thing is maintaining a positive attitude with it. I know
Mhm.
I went to the airport, I went to their pre-bid meeting, and it was my first one. And when I say it was the most interesting thing I've ever been in, like I kind of went in, I didn't really say anything because it was my first one, but you could see the ones that were like, that come to a lot of them.
Mhm.
And it was just a couple of guys, especially guys, you know how they get. But it was a couple of guys in there, and they were so like, I remember when it ended, they were like, I don't understand why they say it's like this for everybody. I'm tired of coming to these and we don't get it. Like, I mean, they were going in, and I just thought it was interesting because I'm like, entrepreneurship in general, but definitely when you're trying to work with other people, you got to remember there are hundreds of thousands of other people who are putting in the application.
Yeah.
So that goes into making sure that your RPF stands out. So making sure you take your time in creating it, making sure that you're putting your unique selling factor first. What is setting you apart from all the other companies that can potentially hire? That can be
Mhm.
a service, that can be a skill, that can be a little bonus that you add on. You really want to get creative and don't use a cookie cutter method for applying for these RFPs.
Yeah.
Every RFP should be a fresh one specifically for whatever you're applying for. If you try the cookie cutter method, it's going to be very hard for you and to do it. And I think that's something that a lot of agencies get caught up in, especially people who have like standard services like plumbing or fencing, things that are
Yeah.
kind of consistent across the board. They don't really think, okay, fencing is fencing. I have this same RFP, I'm gonna send it, not understanding that, they might want metal fencing this time and you didn't send an RFP about how good you are with wood fencing. So those small details that people
Mhm.
overlook, those are really important. So just making sure that you take the process serious and understand that even though it might seem like a needle in a haystack, that you have the same amount of opportunity as anybody else to be able to get these contracts. But it's up to you to make sure that you put your business in the best light to let them know that you are the company or the person for the job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, nothing to add. I mean, I have a template. Once you get that winning proposal and you're like, oh, this one's a winner, let me just keep reusing the same template. But then you look back and you're like, dang, I can't keep using the same template, using the same words. Like, you do have to make sure it's catered to that specific RFP or that contract so that you don't sound just like everybody else. And then even in your hiring decisions, I don't remember where I got this from, but I was doing like a one-on-one session with a mentor. You know how you sign up for those like one-on-one business consultation? You do that. So of course you know what I'm talking about. So I did a one-on-one consultation and I just wanted some fresh eyes on my work. And they were saying, well, what sets you apart? And I was telling them about the bilingual engagement specialist. Like, they don't only, translate our materials, but they can also facilitate meetings and events. And then she was like, oh, well, that's great. But a lot of people have Spanish speakers on their staff. Do you have anyone that speaks Mandarin? And I was like, oh, no, I don't. So, I mean, just think about the thing that's really gonna set you apart, and don't be afraid to go after that. And I'm saying in your area. So it makes sense for me to diversify our languages because I do community work, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe in my next job ad, I will say bilingual or multilingual preferred so that I can say, this is what we have on staff. So just an idea of don't be afraid to think outside the box and think about what differentiates you.
I agree.
Mhm.
So moving forward, so we're going to go into what's called a capability statement. And capability statements are key factors to you being able to secure government contracts. It's kind of like your business professional resume. What you're doing, where you're at, how you're gonna, your credentials, anything that can really, it's like a one pager, anything that can really kind of set you apart and set the tone for who you are and what you can do and what you can offer.
Mhm.
So Christine, I'm gonna let you talk a little bit more about capability statements and why they're so important and why there's so many people who don't know about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, capability statements, like you said, it's like a resume for your business. It is a must-have document that shows that your business is established and reliable. I think the most important thing on your capability statement is your contact information, to be honest. But then after that is your past performance. I would love to give an example of what one looks like, or is that something that we can do?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
just
yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
So let me actually just share this.
Can you share your screen on that side?
Yeah, I think I can. Share screen. Yep.
And let me
This
know if I need to stop mine for yours to go up.
um okay, I'm doing it.
Oh, I see it right there.
Okay, so this is the capability statement ebook, but I wanted to show you just a specific page in it. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Here we go. I just wanted to show you a page in the ebook. So a capability statement is like a resume for your business. And there are different elements to your capability statement that will make it successful. You're going to basically have all 10 of these elements situated on your capability statement, kind of like how your resume is. I think that one of the most important things is your contact information, and you're going to have that across the top, your company name, right? The brand name, like what is your brand? But you also want to have the legal name of your company, your contact information, which needs to be consistent so that people can get in touch with you, and then a short profile, which is just like a paragraph that is a description of what your company does. And let me actually scroll down so you can see an example, because it just doesn't make sense if I talk about capability statement without showing you what it looks like. So this is just an example. As you can see, it's just a template. So you're going to put your logo, company name and tagline, contact information. And then when we talk about our differentiators and our core competencies, this is where you can put bullet points, right, of what it is that you do. So that when you go to a networking event and you hand somebody your capability statement, or if you send it in an email, they don't have a lot of time to look at it, but they need to be able to look at the center of the page and say, okay, you're good at digital marketing, outreach, graphic design, blah, blah, blah. So you want to put 5 or 6 bullet points there. And then also, again, we just talked about differentiators. What makes you different, right? So you want to make sure that you list a couple of things about your business that really makes you different. Let me see if I can pull up an actual capability statement. But does that make sense? Do you have any questions so far, or any clarification so far while I find an
Yeah.
example?
Definitely, guys. If you have any questions, this is an engaging live. So please type your questions into the comment section and we can definitely answer those for you. But I would say the key to capability statements, I know for me, the biggest thing is being clear and concise.
Mhm.
I've seen some capability statements where people fluff it up so much that I don't even really, I feel like I don't know who you are because you didn't put so much in there. And also realizing that this is not your personal resume to a certain extent. This is about your business. So you want to make sure that you put a lot of things that pertain to your business. And what I mean about that is I've seen a I've seen a capability statement where a person would like literally did it like their own resume, like, I'm personable, engaging, customer service, a people person. And these are all good qualities and these are all good things. But your capability statement, they don't care if you're a personable person. They don't care about none of that. They want to know, can you do the job that we're
Right.
asking you to do? So you got to remember that is the foundation of your capability statement, to be able to prove that you are the company that can complete the task that they're looking to pay for. So, oh, go
Absolutely.
ahead.
So I don't know if you can
Yep, I got
see.
you.
Okay. So I'm sharing this, and you're absolutely right. You need to make sure that your capability statement reflects your company, not you as an individual. And so you can put your picture there, your name, your title, so that, you know, people can put a name with a face and vice versa. But if you're not necessarily the face of your company, then you don't have to necessarily put that there, but you want to make sure that they can get in touch with you. So your core competencies, I talked about that. You want to make sure that they're listed there at the top. Hold on. And then you also want to make sure that you have your NAICS codes. So we talked about NAICS codes. And so they know exactly what kind of services that you offer. Under that, I have my NIGP codes, and this is very specific. Sometimes your local government has different commodity codes. So I went ahead and put my local commodity codes. You always want to list your certifications on your capability statement because you want to make sure that you're bragging. You can brag about yourself a little bit and just tell people like, "Hey, I have all of these certifications. If you're looking to partner with a hub business, you can partner with me." And then also, if your certifications are in progress, like if you have filled out the application, you can just put in progress in parentheses. Differentiators. This is what differentiates our company. We have an engagement first approach, and we can reach diverse audiences. Some other differentiators might be something like, we are an award winning company, or we have 20 plus years of experience. That's good, but they really want to know like what in your approach makes you different, right? So if you really feel like that makes you stand out, that combined together you have over 100 years of experience in the industry, I feel like that's kind of like fluff, but it could add something. I've seen that before. And then you want to put your past performance. So this is going to be, 3 or 4, maybe even up to 5, depending on how much space that you have. You're going to put the name of the project, the thing that you did, like the service that you delivered, and then the time frame. So here, at a glance, you can see that I have a lot of city and county North Carolina based projects in different areas like transportation. So basically, when you look at my capability statement, you know what to hire me for. And it's really important that it is specific. And yeah, so people will know, like, hey, they can look at it and make a decision almost immediately about, oh, okay, we need to work together, or I need to hire you. Sometimes I do get the question, um, if you do like really different things in your business, like say, for example, you have a product business and you have a completely different service business, should you have separate capability statements? And I would say yes. I think so. I think if you do hair and beauty and you also do marketing and design, then I think that's two separate businesses. So I'll leave it at that.
No, I totally agree. Because I get that question when it comes to LLCs and all that stuff. They be like, "Oh yeah, can I umbrella it?" And it just doesn't make sense. You don't want to put a contracting business with a massage business. Or even for me, like my roller rink and my massage business and my consulting business, these are all separate entities that whenever I do anything applying for funding, these are all separate things that I apply for.
Right.
And it basically ties to the fact that they all meet different needs. And that's what people got to
Mhm.
realize. It's all need based. Now, if you do hair and you're an esthetician, that's a little bit closer. You know
It's
what I'm
closer.
saying? Yeah,
Mhm.
you in that health and beauty industry, so you can couple those things. So you just got to be mindful. If I put these two businesses together, could they work together? And if you say no to that, then that lets you know that you need to kind of separate what you're doing.
Right, right, exactly. So sometimes I will talk to somebody who works, and I don't want to call people out, but like people that work in logistics. And that's such a broad term. Like, what do you mean logistics? Like, okay, you work in trucking and hauling or logistics. So I feel like that's one area. But then they want to do like staffing and admin. Like, oh, well, can't I just create an umbrella organization and just do staffing for contracts? And why can't I win this staffing contract? Because you don't have a staffing company. It's you can't win a staffing contract with a trucking company. So, sometimes I just have to really just have some tough love with people.
You do, and you have to have some what I like to call come to Jesus meetings. That's what I
Mhm.
call them, or team meetings. If that's not your way, but sometimes I think that it's important, especially as professionals that are in the field, that that we be realistic about where our client and where you're trying to go.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of times it's just so much information online, it's so much information everywhere that I know for me, I had to get a little bit more understanding that, some people just don't know. And honestly, you don't know what you don't know. So that's where
Right.
my role comes in as a professional, to be able to be honest with you, to also be transparent, but to also give you the guidance and steps to make sure that you're going towards the right direction.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, with all that being said, if you guys have any questions that are on the live, this is the perfect time to type it into the chat box, and I will make sure that I get those asked. But outside of that, Christine, can you tell us a little bit about your company and what it does and the best way that people can reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I own Civility Localized, and we focus on community engagement and outreach. And we also offer training and coaching in terms of, helping small businesses get access to government contracts. Right now, I am not taking individual coaching clients. I really want to establish my consulting firm right now. And so I've been offering, you know, speaking engagements and just thought leadership in terms of government contracts. I have a class that I'm teaching at Central Piedmont Community College. It's called Equity in Contracting. And it is absolutely free. So I will share that. It's called Equity in Contracting, and it's at CPCC, Small Business Center. So if you want to sign up for that, you are more than welcome to sign up for it. And I share my office hours through CPCC right now because that's who I'm contracted with.
Perfect. And do you have the date and time for that?
I do. They are on Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights. Um, three cohorts. Three. Excuse me. It's a three-part workshop series. The next one is going to be on the 25th, and then again that next Tuesday. And I let me actually pull up the website and I can share it with you. Yeah, I encourage you to also go on my website and hold on, let me put it in the chat
And
and
is
sign
it
up.
civilityLocalized.com?
If you sign up for our newsletter, I always announce when these opportunities are coming up. So let me put that in the chat. There you go. Yep, sign up for the newsletter. Our newsletter comes out every other Tuesday.
I love it. I love it.
All
All
right.
right. So please sign up. I just dropped that link in the chat box. It ain't nothing but a click. It's free. It's nothing like free, baby. It's my
Yes.
favorite way to be is free. Uh, but outside of that, piggyback, Be the Entrepreneur will be offering beginning November 1st. We will be starting to offer capability statements as a service that you can purchase. So if you are looking into that, or if you are looking into get into that government contracting and you need a capability statement, please note that we can complete those for you as well as business plans. It will be available at a set price, or you can also do our payment plan options. If you are not signed up for our email, I am putting the link for that so you can get so you can subscribe. My subscribers are the ones who get the first access to new services, trainings, all that good stuff. So you can find out more at betheentrepreneur.com, or you can follow my Facebook or Instagram page, Be the Entrepreneur. That way you can stay up to date for all your business needs that you have. With all of that being said, Christine, do you have anything that you would like to close out with today?
No, only stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Amen. And I have nothing else to say. So, with that being said, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in today. I look forward to having the opportunity to come up with another training in a couple of weeks. We will be doing a, please stay tuned. We'll be doing a end of the year small business tax live where we will talk about what you need to be doing this last fiscal not last fiscal year, this last quarter of the year, what you need to be doing as a small business owner to prepare for tax season. That is one of the most stressful seasons, especially for new entrepreneurs. So make sure you tune in. I'll be posting all the information about that on Friday. Link in, let's get right. Let's make sure we get our finances right. So when these opportunities become available, you have what you need to be able to be successful. But with all of that being said, you guys have a good night. Thank you so much, Christine. Again, it's always a pleasure to reconnect with you. And that's it.
All right. Have a good
All
night.
right. Bye, guys.